Alright, what is up everyone? Here we are. Here it is, the man himself, Alistair Overeem. Yo, say hello, Alistair.
Oh,
Yo, thank you so much for doing this, Alistair. This is incredibly hype, man. We're really happy that you could do this for us. Alright, so we were just talking about CNC games before we started up the stream. Alistair, why don't you tell the chat which CNC games you played and which one's your favorite?
So, yeah, long-time veteran, right? I started in the 95, the first original Command & Conquer.
Yeah.
And, yeah, was really hooked on. I actually played Red Alert as well. And then 0 Hour was a big one for me.
Yeah, I love 0 Hour.
And then Rivals after that. So yeah, it's been a long history of shooting up people, shooting up bases, getting that time.
Yeah, for sure. What was your favorite CNC game other than Rivals?
I would say 0 Hour.
Yeah. I think for me it's Tib Sun. I love Tib Sun. The theming of it was so good for me. But I did.
There's certain Command & Conquer games I just didn't feel.
Fair enough.
So I didn't play them, but 0 Hour, I played that tons. Rivals played that tons.
Yeah.
How competitive did you get with generals?
I was a maniac.
Oh really?
I have some games 8 hours, 9 hours.
Oh my god.
Really?
Yeah. And I would go back and watch the replay as well.
Oh my god. What faction did you play in 0 Hour?
China, right? So it was
nice.
I could actually play all factions. But and all three of them had their benefits, clear benefits.
Yep.
But and clear strengths, also clear weaknesses. But yeah, and all three were fun, right?
Yeah, I mean the game. It was a really good game. Like the fact that they cancelled Generals 2 was a sin. Like it's just crazy they cancelled it. Generals was amazing.
When you look at the I was actually really on the lookout for Generals 2.
Yeah.
For many years, but then when you looked at what actually came out, it just wasn't anything special, right? It was nothing.
Yeah, and then they just cancelled it.
I'd rather have them not pursue that than pursue it, and then it's
I think that's what they said, right? They were like, they ended up cancelling it, being like, we're just not happy with where it's at, and we don't want to restart the whole progress. Yeah. All right, so
they might still do it, right? They might still.
There's a chance. I mean, if like the remasters did really well, so they might be looking into doing more CNC, and like Generals 2 seems like a really natural place to go if you're gonna do a new CNC game. So yeah, maybe that would be insane.
But what is interesting is that with Rivals, they really cut down the attention span time of a game. So it's going to be a big question mark if you actually can go back into 1-2 hours of doing that, when Rivals is actually cutting it back down to 3 minutes, 4 minutes a game.
I think
and everything is congested in there in those 4 minutes.
Despite that, I think most people didn't give Rivals a chance, is the problem. Like, obviously, those of us who actually tried it, everyone who tried Rivals was like, wow, this game is really good. But most people just, like, hated on it because it's a mobile game and never even gave it a chance. So, a lot of the CNC fan base don't even consider it a real game, so they're not going to mind if they go back to the old formula.
Yeah. How are you guys familiar with any of the numbers of Rivals? Like, how much copies did they sell? How much active users, players?
I don't know for the current numbers, but I know that when I was at EA for that week after the launch event, they did say that, I'm trying to think how much it was, but I believe that Masters was, they told me that Tiberium was like 10,000 players and Masters was like 10 times the size. And then they were really tight-lipped on beyond that. They were like, just know that they get bigger as you go down, but that was way back. That was right after release, though. I know the numbers have dropped dramatically since then. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't realize there was music playing. Let me get rid of the music if there is some.
So I do really want to quickly just touch base on Rivals. So in your little, so you have your online documentary, The Ream, and in one of the episodes, we see you play Rivals, and you mentioned that it's like high impact, like 3-4 minutes. What like makes you like enjoy Rivals aside from the lore? Is there something else where you're just like, I love Rivals because it's so fast paced, or like, is it?
Well, I mean, it's a game which usually is like 20-30 minutes congested into 4 minutes.
Yeah.
which has actually I've noticed is a little bit the trend of a lot of things lately. They congest things into a short, high-paced package, which I do not necessarily think is a good thing.
Okay.
Because it becomes this adrenaline bomb, right? So and on the one hand, super addictive. On the one hand, super fun. Everything is happening in those 3-4 minutes. But on the other hand, I don't know. I also had a little bit of problem with the addiction part. And I'm sure you guys.
We would see you on ladder all the time, right?
All the time.
And I also do want to ask, in terms of that, we do notice that you've only stuck with GDI for a very long time. Is there a specific reason why you're just running the same deck?
I enjoyed them more. I enjoyed the GDI more. I enjoyed the units more, the tanks, the Air Force. So it was just a personal preference, and I could actually play both. I finished the nod with all the units, and I got all the upgrades and got all this, but I just was more interested in GDI.
Yeah, sure. Fair enough. What is your favorite Rivals unit?
Well, I usually always play the same card, right?
Yeah.
And then later I would alternate a little bit. But you know what I had? I had that. I usually was on training camp, and I would sleep in the mountains. I would be really high up, 10,000 feet, and the connection there sucked. Yeah. So I was my God, no. It was lagging, and then So I would usually then play when I was in the city. And in the mountains, So it was not ideal always.
Yeah, right? I believe that. But would you say there's a specific unit in that deck that was your absolute favorite, or do you just like the whole deck?
Well, you need to build up to the stronger units, right? So And then if you have clever fighters, they can keep kind of interrupting you and stopping you and harassing you, and making you not optimized to get those units. So that was always a challenge to do that. Blade, you're one of those.
That's the tech nightmare, man. Once you get them rolling, you've got them, but getting there is so tough.
Yeah.
But I remember watching that interview that was on YouTube, the documentary about you, where we saw you playing Rivals. That's how we knew it was the real you, because someone found this documentary of you playing it, and there's just this whole camera crew standing around waiting, and they're like, "Hey, Alistair, are you ready?" And you're like, "Shut up, man, it's life and death." And I'm like, "That's it."
You're addicted, so you're playing your game, right? And then people are waiting on you. I had that happen so many times. That's also a little bit why I dislike the addiction, because it's just too much, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
And you check your times, you're like, you know what, I really do believe I'm doing this a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So I actually decided to just get rid of the addiction. So I did that.
Is that why you quit playing?
I'm not playing since.
It's a shame, because I love playing against you, man.
Say again?
I say I love playing against you. It's good times, like having such a superstar in the game.
I most likely will not play again, because I know where it leads to. Where it may lead to. And listen, I played that game for 3 years, every day.
Yeah.
And then it's I've done it, I've seen it. I don't want to put my time into that anymore. So it's just a clear, conscious decision to not do that anymore. But listen, I still like the game, and I would even still go to your YouTube, Blade, as the only person I would watch, right? The only YouTube about the game I would watch. I love the comments, even especially when you get your ass kicked. Those comments are awesome.
I will attempt to lose more often for you, Alistair.
Yeah, but that's not that often though. That's not that often.
I need to ask you about the most famous move of Alistair Overeem in Rivals. The classic second harvester to the pads at the start of the game. This was something that people like. I literally had people come to me being like, "Why is he doing this?" So what was up with the half? Was it a scout? Was it to stall the pads? What was the second half's job when he moved forward?
It's scouting first unit move.
Scouting first unit.
Because that kind of.
That's what I figured it was. Yeah. Because it's a huge difference if you know what the first unit you need to make to counter their unit is. It makes a mad like. I got to the point where, because you did the harvester scout move, I started telling people stay away from your opponent's vision. Like, it literally was you're the one who made me realize I need my opponent not to know my first unit when they're double half. So I'd be like, if you see a second harvester, don't go near it, because then they'll know what to make to counter it. Just wait, and then their first unit might just be wrong, and then they're so far behind. So yeah, the half scout, man, absolutely
I
classic.
changed the reality with my strategies.
Yeah.
No, but it's fun, right? It's fun. It actually really is a good game. It's short.
It's an amazing game.
It's compact. There's a lot of competition. You're figuring out the unit traits as you go.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit the chess match, right? You're because of course on paper it is that, but then you have small little tweaks. And and then they messed me up a couple times, right? With the update, the Liang drone update, that you can't move it anymore.
Yeah, I that was such a band-aid fix, because the whole community was asking for make it so Liang drone just can't control pads. That's all everyone wanted.
Yeah.
Because the Liang drone moving is integral to its playability.
Yeah.
But it stealing pads was way too strong. So everyone was just like, please make it not control pads. And they're like, we're not really sure how to do that. So 0 speed. And everyone's like, oh my god, what are you doing?
And then my thing was, I'm loyal, right? I don't want to give up my deck. I'm like, let's just do it without. Then I had a good run. I had fun doing it. I still had good luck. I think I kind of beat everyone who I played at least once. Some people I beat many times. All those I would usually lose you blade, but
I know you definitely got a few off me. Like for sure you definitely got at least like 10 games off of me.
Yeah,
like you beat me a bunch of times.
It was fun.
Do you have a favorite Rivals opponent? Like, do you have any memorable like opponents or games or anything aside from Blade?
You recognize the names, right? You recognize the names, and then you're okay. Let's go, and you can kind of know their strategy from the last time. Right, and then they got your number 2, and the motivation is high.
Yeah.
The other thing is that when somebody beats you, you hate that person so bad you just want to get back in there and get them back. So
you want to queue up again and rematch.
That's an emotion that game generated so fantastically, right? It's a short game. In the end, you want to win, but if you lose, you just can't wait to get back on the horse and do it again.
That's something people say a lot about Rivals. Is like it's just actually weirdly it's like an incredibly frustrating game. Like you lose a game and you're like, so angry. I must go and defeat this person.
Yeah. So it's okay, guys. Listen, before my dad is brought, my sushi is done.
Yep.
Is there anything else that you guys would like to ask me?
I do have a very quick question. I have a question from BR. I don't know if you recognize BR from the ladder. BYAH. But he wants to know, did you notice there was a time when you had a fight coming up and like every alliance changed their name to be like good luck in the upcoming fight, Alistair? And he wants to know if you logged in when we did that, if you saw it or not. I guess that's a no.
No, that is a no. But I did notice on a couple of occasions that there were some players that actually, because it was kind of funny, right? I'm playing under my own name. Yeah. But that could have been me, or it could have been a different fan. But I was just like, I'm just gonna put my name. I didn't really, think about it more. But I did notice that there was more and more players, DMing me on Instagram. Yeah. And that was kind of fun.
It's a good thing you did use your name, because otherwise we would never have realized who you were. You know, like. Yeah. It's convenient that you did that.
Yeah. It's kind of fun.
All right, now just before you go, one last question from me. I do have a question also from Duncan, and this is not Rivals related. He wants to know what was the fight, the knockout, which you were most proud of.
Well, there's many, right? There's many beautiful moments in my career, because it's been 24. This is actually my 25th year fighting.
Wow,
yes, it is.
That's crazy.
So as I said, my first fight was 97. It's not.
Oh my god, I was 7.
So we're wrapping up, guys. We're wrapping up. This really is my final year. But I think the Badr Hari fight was great, K1 fight, but also the Brock Lesnar fight was great. Yeah. The first fight in UFC. I'm also thinking the both Vitor Belfort fights. All the title fights that I win, all the legends that I beat.
There really is just such a long and storied career. You can't pick a single one. Okay, fair enough. All right, great. You got anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
In terms of MMA related, you said you've left the door open for UFC, but is it possible to make Fedor happen, you think, at this point, and would you be willing to do it as like one of your last ride things?
I don't think Fedor is realistic. Fedor is, I think, 46 years old. Yeah. And to me, UFC is that door is shut. Yeah. I will finish my career outside of UFC. and it
Okay.
is basically my last 1, 2, or 3 fights. So it really
Yeah.
is my final.
Because you've
And
said
then-
like what 18 months or something, right? Before.
No, it's
kind
going
of-
to be a year. This year.
Oh, a year.
And I'm
Okay.
thinking May Glory for the title against Rico Verhoeven.
Yep.
So that'll be Glory kickboxing. So that'll be a pretty big fight. And then afterwards, I don't know. We're gonna see how we feel. Feeling very.
I think that's it. I think his data's
There might
gone,
be.
chat.
Yeah.
He did say he was going to go until his data ran out. I think that must be it. All right, well, unfortunately, obviously, you can't say it to his face, but thank you so much, Alistair, for doing this. Truly an amazing experience to be able to talk to you face to face.
Yeah, I'm glad we
yeah.
definitely got to bring that to the community. So
Yeah, and
was
obviously,
really awesome.
thank you so much to Grape Boy for setting this up. This is 100% Grape Boy. All of the credit goes to Grape Boy. He set up the whole thing. He slid into those DMs. I don't know what he gave Alistair in exchange for the interview, but I'm sure it was whatever Alistair wanted. And again, thank you to thank you to Viper for the graphics, because obviously these graphics are all
Viper.
Viper.
100%.
Yeah, thank you so much to Viper for that. All right, well, there you go, guys. Unfortunately, Alistair's data has died, so he is going to go and enjoy his sushi. But yeah, that was great. And thank you, Viper and Great Boy and Alistair. And yeah,
All right.
see you guys next time.
See you guys.